Hello to you, my fellow Gooners, and welcome to Arsenal TV. This is your transfer update show where I give you the players that have been linked with a January move to Arsenal and our current players that have been linked away from the club. Now, the first person that I would like to talk about in today's video, and that is one of our own players, and that is Shoklan Mustafi. Now, Mustafi, in the past few weeks, he's been heavily linked to a move to the Champions League side, Galatasaray. Now, his agent flew out to Turkey a couple of days ago to hold talks with Galatasaray to try to seal the move now. Galatasaray desperately need a centre-back. They lost their main centre-back to an ACL injury back in November, and he is out for the rest of the season. And they really do need a centre-back. Now, Mustafi fits what they're trying to do perfectly. He's available, and Arsenal want to sell him, and it seems like the perfect time to get the deal done. As I said, Arsenal want to sell him. They don't want to loan him. They would like to just recruit what they can back off him. And they're not going to get anywhere near the £35 million mark that they paid for him, but they are just settling for the fact that what we have a player. His contract is running down. He's got a year left on his contract after this season, and whatever we get for him, let's get it and get these wages, high wages that he's on. Over 90 grand a week off the wage bill. Now, personally for me, I think that Mustafi, he does need to leave the club. He wasn't really much in Unai Emery's plans when Unai Emery was here. And he also is not getting a look in the likes of Mikel Arteta's plans. I know he played the game against Chelsea, and it was him that gave the game away, really, and made us not get the 3 points. I think because, he just let Tammy Abraham just run past him. Just sloppy errors he's made constantly at his time at Arsenal. And he's supposed to be a German international. I don't think he's making out to be an international, because a full international player and a defender would not make those sort of mistakes. If you compare him to the likes of Arsenal legends, the likes of Tony Adams, the likes of Sol Campbell, they would never have made the mistakes that he makes, that Mustafi makes on a constant basis. So really for me, I think it would be ideal to get rid of him. And as I said, I don't think Arsenal will get nowhere near the £35 million mark that we paid for him when he first arrived at Arsenal. Because if you look at it, I mean, he hasn't recently played at Arsenal, and when you don't play a player, their market value goes down. So we're probably looking between 10 to £20 million, those sort of brackets. I think that's what we're looking to get, and I think that's what Arsenal are looking to do, is to get whatever they can, and then whatever they get, pull it towards another player. So, yeah, so that's another player that is being heavily linked away from the club, and that is Mustafi. Now, the next player I would actually like to talk about, and that is another one of our own players, and that is Mavropanos. Now, Mavropanos has been loaned out to a German Bundesliga side, FC Nürnberg, for the remainder of the season. And the interesting thing out of it is that Arsenal want him back at the end of their own spell. Apparently, there has been offers to buy Mavropanos, but Arsenal want to send him out on loan, want to get him game time. This guy just hasn't played at Arsenal. Yeah, he's been injured time after time again and simply not played at Arsenal. And Arsenal, apparently, Mikel Arteta, they still think there's a player in there and just want to get him out there, get him some game time and see what he can do, and see if he is a player that can come back and do the job at Arsenal. Personally, for me, I think that Mavropanos, we should get rid of him. I personally would sell him if it was me. When he first came to Arsenal and he made his debut against Man United, I saw great potential. and I had high hopes for this kid, but after him getting injured and everything, he's hardly played for Arsenal. As I said, he's hardly played for us. And I just think that he hasn't really hit the ground running at Arsenal at all. And I think maybe moving him on to another club on a permanent basis, I think it'd be best for his career. Maybe not best for Arsenal because we are lacking on numbers at the back, and we desperately do need centre-backs. But on the players' circumstances, I think that it would be ideal just to sell him permanently because it'll be better for his career. So that's another player that Arsenal has loaned out, and that is Mavropanos. Now, another player that I would like to talk about on today's show, and that is the Juventus centre-back, Demiral. Now, as I said, he plays for Juventus. He's a centre-back. He's 21 years old. He has only joined Juventus this season, but he's not been getting a lot of game time, but in recent times, he's been starting lots of games. I think this deal now is dead in the water. And what I mean by it's dead in the water, because I know that a few days ago that Arsenal was linked with him to be with a loan move to Arsenal. But I think that's completely dead in the water now. He played against Roma in a 2-1 win that Juventus had over them on the weekend. And he suffered what looks like could be a serious injury. He was stretchered off. He scored in that game, bear in mind. But he was stretchered off before the end. And Maurizio Sarri, the ex-Chelsea manager, who is now Juventus's manager, was more or less suggesting that the injury as a serious one, and that rules him out any possible move, which was looking very unlikely anyway for Demiral to move out to Arsenal or anywhere else on loan this January. So yeah, I honestly think that Demiral, he's a great centre-back, absolute fantastic player, but it's not ideal that he's going to have this. He's got this ACL injury now. And you just don't know. With ACL injuries, you don't know how they're going to come back and to play a game. You look at the likes of Hector Bellerin at the moment. Hector Bellerin, he's recently come from an ACL injury, and he's very slow off the pace. He's not the same player like he used to be anymore. And it's going to be the same for Demiral. You don't know how he's going to come back. You don't know what type of player he is when he comes back. Is he going to be the same player like he was before he got injured? You just don't know with these things. But Demiral coming to Arsenal, I would have actually liked that, to be honest. But it's not going to happen now. Another player that I would like to talk about on today's episode, and that is Eddie Nketiah, one of our own players. Now, in the last video, I said that Eddie Nketiah was recalled from Leeds United, and Arsenal wasn't happy in the way Leeds United was using him. As we know, Leeds United are a championship side, and Arsenal recently played against them. But Eddie Nketiah was being used as an impact player from coming off the bench. And it's not what Arsenal wanted, and that's why he got recalled back from his loan spell. Now, Eddie Nketiah has everybody chasing him, and the clubs that are actually wanting him is Bristol City, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa, and Norwich City. Which one is he going to join? All of them are very interested in signing him. Championship clubs are very hot for him. The Premier League clubs are considering him. And I think we are going to find out this week where Eddie Nketiah will end up. Out of those clubs that he's been linked with, I will say them again: Bristol City, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa, and Norwich City. I personally would like to see him at Nottingham Forest. You think about it, he'll be actually with another ex-teammate, and that is Cole Jenkinson, who Arsenal recently sold to Nottingham Forest. So maybe him going to Nottingham Forest and seeing a familiar face, I think that would be very good. But I think wherever Eddie Nketiah goes, he will score goals anyway, and I've got no doubt about it. Now, I'm just thinking, Now, the only outfield strikers that we've got, the out-and-out strikers that we've got, is Aubameyang and Lacazette. Now, on the bench, we've only got Martinelli who can play up front. Now, I'm just thinking, do we keep Nketiah and use him just in case if any of the strikers get injured? Or do we actually put him out on another loan? I think maybe another loan might help him in terms of, you know, for his progression as a player. But I'm just thinking of Arsenal at the end of the day. I think maybe we might need to stay for him to stay at Arsenal. But let's just see what Arsenal do. And let's see where Eddie Nketiah will end up. So guys, that is your transfer update show for today. If you did enjoy this video and you are new to Arsenal TV, please make sure you are smashing that subscribe button. Make sure you're hitting that notification bell so you do not miss another video. Making sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, which is very, very important, and making sure you are leaving your comments below. Let me know in the comments who would you like to see at Arsenal and how many players realistically do we need for January to go for us to go to the end of the season. Guys, until my next video, which will be tomorrow for another transfer video, I will see you lot soon. I am out of here.